beautiful soul. Welcome. This is Rochelle with the Healing Rose. So today I'm going through my space themed oracle and tarot decks. So space, moon, astrology. So first up is Gateway of Light, which, okay, I was so excited, honestly, when I first realized that Kyle was doing something that wasn't just a whole bunch of staring faces on a deck, and we actually were having these really interesting visuals to work with. And then I got it and I was like, okay, well, the divine matrix, Sirius star blessing, angelic frequency, chamber of the violet flame. I was like, what is going on here? It's gorgeous, I love it, but how am I supposed to read with this? That was my first reaction, right? Then I started ignoring the titles and looking at some of the keywords, right? So heart chakra opening, unlocking generosity. So using the keywords as opposed to the Stargate heart. And, you know, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, living with grace. So once I started sort of going beyond the surface of the starseediness of it, and, you know, all of these sort of different activations and portals, you know, all these other cards are gates or activations or something else, right? Venusian Galactic Council. Okay, it's time to shine. Your angels want you to answer the call, step out and shine your light. Like, that's pretty easy, you know? I actually found when I sort of shifted my mind away from trying to wrap around the starseed concepts and just focused on using it as an oracle, it's actually been functioning really, really well for me. And I love the artwork. And I love this cardstock, actually. And this is the second copy. So my first copy, I did order from Hay House directly. And my first copy came with the coating that goes on this, got like warped somehow or like folded on itself. So it was all warped and jagged, and I contacted them, sent them a few pictures of what was happening with the deck, and they actually sent me this deck free of charge because I was having issues with it. So that was really, really lovely of them. And it's got a little message inside the box as well, which is quite lovely. Jennifer Hawkyard, her artwork is brilliant, and I think with, you know, just, I don't know, I don't mind his other decks so much, but honestly, it's such a nice change from the staring faces. I really like this deck. I love the colors and I love her artwork. And so lately it's actually just been hanging out in a little bag, which means it's a deck that I'm actually using if it's not hanging out in its box. So that's kind of lovely. It's lovely to have something come off the shelf, and it didn't resonate with me for quite a while when I first got it, but now I actually find I'm actually using it a lot. Okay, so let's look. Star Codes, Astro Oracle, Heather Rowan Robbins, artwork by Lucas Lua de Souza. I love the artwork. There's something so really fabulous about this artwork. I'm not in love with this cardstock. This is the cardstock that Hay House did. It's just that little bit thinner, which is all right because it's a chunky deck. It just doesn't, I mean, you can see the deck was like this when it showed up. Actually, some cards are bent one way, some cards are bent another, and it doesn't seem to matter how much I've shuffled it. It just is what it is. But the artwork is lovely. So Heather is a really fabulous astrologer. And this is a brilliant deck. I would love to see Hay House have her do a moon-themed oracle. I think it would be brilliant. She actually has a book that came out years ago. Totally. By Chico Books. Be Your Own Moon Astrologer. Transform your life using the moon's signs and cycles. And when did this come out? 2015. So it came out quite a while ago, right? And it's something that she was, I mean, look, it's got this beautiful silver. And so I do love this little book, and it's like the moon in relationship to Saturn or Uranus, the eclipses, things to do, what to watch out for, right? So we have navigate your day with the moon in Sagittarius, the romance, contemplation, in your garden, what to do, what to watch out for. And so it's like such a solid little, I would love to see an oracle go along with this work. And I actually don't even know, but now I need to check when Yasmin's deck was produced, because now it's just stuck in my brain. I'm wondering who started doing this work first. It's kind of interesting, you know? Is there a date? 2018. So 3 years later, Yasmin was putting this out. Interesting. Which means it was probably in the works 2 years earlier. So she probably started working on it in 2016, which makes me kind of wonder, but you know. I would love for her to actually do a moon oracle, because I think with the way she writes and her knowledge of things, that it would be absolutely brilliant. But this artwork is gorgeous. Now what I find is I don't use it. I don't use this oracle. It does pair beautifully with a couple of decks that I have. And I think maybe it's just me and how I read and what oracles I'm using, right? So what does she cover? The signs, the qualities, the solar activity, luminaries, planets, asteroids, lunar nodes, cardinal points, houses, supportive aspects, challenging aspects, and changing states. And so everything has a blurb in here, and then we have a challenge and a gift. So it's really solid just as an oracle. It's just not one that I am drawn to work with, even though it's just so lovely. I feel like it might be, like it's on my maybe list, but I feel like everything ends up on my maybe list, and then I still end up with like 200 oracle decks sitting on the shelf, you know? All right. This is a solid maybe. I feel like I should be more decisive. Okay, well, since we've pulled it out, let's look. So we've got Yasmin Boland, artwork by Nick Srone. So this is the first Moonology deck. And the artwork is, you know, they're all moons, which is why I got it. I'm not really a fan of the line drawing in the moons. Although the flow of the Pisces is quite beautiful. Some of these cards, like this one, I love this card. But a lot of them are just kind of like, meh. You know, some of them are, actually have scenes, and then other ones are just sort of like the moon with a representation of something like Gemini in it, or Libra, or Taurus, you know. And then some of them actually are really interesting little moon scenes. And I don't know how much of that was Yasmin's directions that were coming. Mina. God, my dog's just chewing on her toes. Mina, stop. Yeah, the minute she thinks I'm getting out of my chair, immediately stops and looks at me. Oh yeah, I heard you. So funny. So what I find I'm using this for, and I have edged this one in sort of a darker silver, is I'm using it for timings. And it's not my favorite oracle, but it functions very well for timing. So that's kind of interesting. It is well used in that aspect, but it's not one that I enjoy working with. So it's kind of interesting. Like, it functions and I use it, but I don't love it. All right, so Moonology Manifestation Oracle cards. I was very excited for these. The artwork is Lori Mena, and Lori's artwork is sublime. I find I've hardly used this guidebook. I think I've used the spreads. Yeah, because it naturally opens to the spreads. So, you know, it's more focusing on your manifesting and, you know, manifesting ritual for forgiveness. And it's really interesting how she does this, like calling Kuan Yin and, you know, call in Parvati and call in Circes and, or Selene. And I'm just like pick one, you know, just pick one instead of trying to be this goddess, that goddess, whatever. It's like, you know, manifesting. I don't know. There's something like the guidebook I find I don't really enjoy. But oh my God, this oracle overall, it's so lovely. I really love it. And I haven't really used it as an oracle. I more use it by, like, you know, shuffling and going, okay, so what's a takeaway we can focus on? There we go, right? Or what do we want to start a reading with? You know, how can you embrace allowing yourself to be free and go wild and, you know, express yourself a little bit more, and then do a reading on that. So as opposed to using it just for a prompt for a reading, I kind of want to see if, you know, maybe I can use it as more of a tool to do an entire reading where we can see what comes up if we actually lay out all the cards, and where does that story take us? Because, oh my God, so gorgeous. There goes the dog turning around 20 times before she lays down, of course. So this one, I feel like maybe I just want to work with this as I move into September. I'm trying to choose my decks that I actually feel called to work with. All right, so there's Moonology done. All right, so let's go. Let's do these ones. Okay. All right, so I have the Star Child Tarot. This is the Akashic version. The original is more of a full oracle size, but there were some changes done to the cards that I actually really appreciated the artwork so much more in the Akashic version, so I decided to get that. And I like this size, and this has become my main reader deck when I go to fairs, when I go to events and I'm reading, I take this deck. And there's a couple reasons why. First off, the artwork. People are really like, oh, look at that. Oh, like Serenity. Oh, the Eight of Crystals. There's nothing really off-putting in it, right? There's nothing really visually disturbing in it for people. They don't go, oh my God, it's the devil. This is going to happen. Oh, look, it's the tower. Oh, look, it's death, you know? So, in here, the death card is actually, I believe it's called Transformation. We do have an extra card, the Akashic Records, which is quite interesting when that comes out. It's just this beautiful, we have these beautiful sort of space scapes and moonscapes, and it's got this lovely quality to it. I also really like that pentacles are replaced with crystals, and they're actually crystals. They're not just called Ace of Crystals and then it's also full of pentacles. So I kind of love that. Absolutely love that somebody stuck to it, because one of my biggest pet peeves is when people go, okay, it's, you know, they call it pentacles, but they show us coins with different symbols on them. Or they call it coins, but then just show us pentacles. Like, why didn't you just show us coins, you know? Or discs or whatever, and then there's still just pentacles. You might as well have just, why'd you rename your suit if you're still just going to use pentacles when you could be using whatever, you know, flowers, and then the flowers will still have pentacles on them so that you know it's actually pentacles. Like, we couldn't figure that out on our own. That's like a big pet peeve. But I do really love, I love the really interesting qualities to this deck. I love that the tower is intact, you know, and it's someone about to enter the tower. They're right in front of the door. So it's like you're about to enter a period of change, right? You're about to create change in your life as opposed to your world's falling apart around you. So, you know, it definitely has a soft quality to it. And people really resonate with that. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I love this deck so much. I've never seen a tarot deck like this. Oh, this is, you know, they're drawn into the reading instead of being nervously anticipating something happening during the reading, you know? So it brings a different quality to it. Okay, so while we're on the theme of Daniel Knoll, I have the Moonchild Tarot. This is the shadow version edition. So the backs are this lovely deep aubergine with gold. We have this lovely dark aubergine purple tinting, and then the overall color palette of it is more on that, has more of that purple influence into it, more of the chocolatey sort of brown colors. We have some new cards that are in here, and we do have extra cards. So we have Shadow Work, we have the Moonchild, and we have, what's the other one? Divine Wisdom? Yeah, here it is, Divine Wisdom. That are extra cards that I have decided to include in this shuffling. I mean, that Moonchild is absolutely fabulous. And so instead of the world, we have the universe. It is really just absolutely lovely. Lovely, lovely deck. Interesting blend of this sort of medieval, ancient Egypt, and like a little bit kind of, maybe not so much space in this version, because the other one has a lot of elements of like, of space, that kind of a star seed energy that comes out in it. And this one has less of that. There is some element of the moon and space brought into it, but it is almost a little bit more of a watery, kind of misty feeling to it, which is quite interesting. So it's a little bit more, I feel, earth-based, a little bit more grounded, perhaps, than the original Moonchild. So this is a lovely High Priestess. So my favorite out of the two Moonchild tarot would be the original, because I absolutely love the High Priestess in the original. So in the original, I have not included all three of the extra cards in my shuffling and using of the deck. So this is my favorite High Priestess ever in any tarot deck. So this one has quite a different look to it. We've got this beautiful white background, and I have replaced my Devil card with my Shadow Work card, and the Divine Wisdom and the Moonchild stay out. I'm not as much of a fan of this Moonchild, and so I didn't feel like they really needed to be in the tarot for it to be a functional, usable deck for me. This one has a sort of almost a matte gold edging to it. And it has more of that space element in it. It's a little bit brighter. This tower, you know, interesting difference in the color tone and quality between this one and the original. So we still have this sort of medieval, ancient Egypt, but we also have this sort of Stargate, space themed. Really, it's such an interesting blend to me. I love this. If I had to have only one tarot deck, it would probably be this one. It's a toss-up between this and the Star Child. For me personally, if it was just me and I never had to read for another person ever, it would be, I would keep this deck for myself. I absolutely love this Moonchild Tarot. So these ones are staying. Yeah, these can stay. Okay. All right. So let's look at this. The Luna Botanica Astrological Ultra cards. These are quite simply, these are from, let me see, Athene Noctua. And there's only 12. And so we have these lovely moons with the botanicals wrapped around them. And then we have our keywords. So our concept, we have our sign, we have our botanical, the concept, and then 3 keywords for it. So, I mean, it could function as a little mini oracle for you, a little sort of daily draw. I do like to use it as a centerpiece for a reading. I do like to use them for if I'm doing full moon readings, and it's like, okay, so full moon in Pisces, here's a centerpiece, let's do our reading around this. And it brings a lovely quality to it. And they're such simple little cards. They're massive, so I'm grateful there's only 12 because they are quite huge. They do come in a lovely box. You can order them independently from her on her site. Okay, let's look at this. So, Astrology Oracle. The Heavenly Bodies Astrology. It comes as a gift set. I think it's sold as a gift set. Even if you look on Amazon, it says gift set. So it has this beautiful box that opens up, and originally had an insert, and then the deck set and the insert was this paper with a ribbon, and then this book set on top of it. And so I actually use this when I go to fairs and events, and I use this when I do draws. People can throw their ticket in, and you know, when I do a drawing for a free reading or deck or whatever it is. I love this book. Love this book. It's so gorgeous. Her artwork is beautiful. So we cover the planets, the signs of the zodiac, the houses, the major aspects, the natural zodiac, and the nodes of destiny. So the natural zodiac is earth, air, fire, water, yin, yang, cardinal, fixed, mutable. So it's a little bit different in what it has in it compared to the Star Codes Astro Oracle. And it's got this lovely box. She's got all these beautiful little quotes on everything. So it's a very slippy deck. Really sturdy ribbon. It's a gorgeous gift set. If you were getting this as a gift set for someone, absolute beautiful. It's sort of a semi-gloss, ultra smooth finish on here. It's a nice weight of cardstock. It springs back well. I don't mind the borders on this one, actually. I thought, oh, maybe I should trim them, and then I was like, nah, I actually don't mind them. I love her watercolor, sort of watercolor, almost collage-y effect in the way this artwork is done. It's just beautiful. We've got our little keywords on here, which I love. Yeah, it's got such a lovely, soft feeling to it. If I had to keep only one astrology-themed deck, this would be the deck. So, I do, yeah, I do love this one. This one's gonna stay. So yeah, if I had to choose between the two, if I had to choose between the star codes and the heavenly bodies, I would choose heavenly bodies. I don't exactly have to choose, but honestly, yeah, I'm not as drawn to, I love the artwork. It is beautiful on the star codes, but I'm just not as drawn to using it. Okay. So, all right, we've done that. We've done that. Let's look at this. Queen of the Moon. All right, guidance through lunar and seasonal energies. Stacy DeMarco. I've had a few of her decks that I just gave away because I got them, love the artwork, never used it, away it went. I got this because I actually was curious to see if her artwork was different than, or not artwork, for the guidebook was different than Yasmin Boland's, like how different her messages were, and would it be a better oracle. And I love the guidebook, actually. I love the guidebook so much that I ordered another one of her decks. So it is glossy, which is like why do they have to be glossy? Why couldn't it be matte? It's not exactly my type of artwork. But I do have a lot of these sort of like photo collage ones. It's just, maybe it's just the color palette is just not as soft, or not as, there's something about it that doesn't resonate the same. But is it ever a great oracle? I've really been enjoying my readings with it. And I enjoyed it so much, actually, that it made me order another one of her oracles. So I immediately went and ordered Oracle of the Universe, and then pre-ordered Queen of the Sun Oracle, which is coming out next month. And so let's see what that's like, because I wasn't going to order any more decks because I'm in the middle of decluttering, right? But I ordered this because I was like, well, maybe it's just I'm not resonating with moon decks right now. Maybe that's why I'm not enjoying my Moonology decks. And maybe it's just because I'm resonating with the writings of someone else, right? So I love this. Love it. So then I ordered this, and I probably shouldn't have. So Divine Guidance from the Cosmos, right? Same artist. So it's Kinga Brichegi. I'm probably absolutely butchering that. And I got the guidebook, and I was so impressed with the guidebook in Queen of the Moon. And then I get this one, and there's a lot of information in here, okay, with each card. So we have Pegasus, freedom, we have the Greek writing there, and then we have find freedom in the mastery of oneself. You cannot control others. To be truly free, you must cultivate your independence. No one owns you but you. You always have a choice. Look to your values in order to make a good decision. Okay. And then it goes on. So first off, this is a smaller italic print, and we're not using a white letter. So it doesn't stand out that much from the background. So it's actually really kind of like annoying to try to like always read the fine print, I find anyways, right? And then it's this rainbow colors, so we have blues and purples and pinks all through the lettering, which was an interesting choice to do artistically. Really interesting, as if it's just the letters are coming out from the space background, right? I get it. Then we go over here and it's black on white. Well, that's so much easier to read. And this is all a lot of information about Pegasus and the myth behind the location in the sky. So it's interesting, right? We have our words of power, which is our cute little affirmation. So you literally have to turn your pages to get the rest of your information for the oracle. And it is, after all, an oracle. And then we have official astronomy tags, and how to view it. So, whereas this is on 2 pages. So here's our message, here's the rest of the message, and it's broken up with all this stuff. And I really just did not like the guidebook at all. Okay, so then we get into the cards. Look at that edging. It's stunning. I love the backs. I love that we've chosen to have this little silver bit of paper here. Brilliant. And then I looked at it and went, okay, motivation. This is not an attractive card. She's beautiful. She's like heart forward. But why did we put this ram's horn on her head? It's odd because the ram is right here. So we already know. And it's like headstrong. Are you headstrong? I don't know. Then we have sisterhood. That so beautifully demonstrates that concept, right? The image right away speaks to you. Rescue. Nope. Distraction. Okay, that makes sense. Leo and kingdom. It's just a line with a crown. That seems quite derivative. Virgo. Justice. And then we have a compass and her head. Like, what does that have to do with justice? It's like, are you trying to find your way to justice? Are you lost? Are you, then we have Libra with balance, which is interesting because justice is often pictured with the 2 scales, right? So it's just like kind of odd. So we have Sagittarius with a claim, and we have the fireworks, right? So you're being celebrated, you're being acknowledged. And then Capricorn is gratitude, but it's just a goat with a fish's tail. So it's like, it's a weird back and forth between the signs. I like that we have the actual astrology or astronomy rather, right there. So the constellation is on there for you to find. And like this, like Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, those cards are almost worth buying the deck. Orion the Hunt with beautiful little ridgebacks. Kind of makes me almost want to keep the deck because I also love my ridgeback, and it's so interesting to see them in here. But as somebody that is an archer and has ridgebacks, I'm telling you right now, the 2 don't mix. So it's a weird combination for me, actually, having that breed and knowing what kind of hunting dog they are. They're a sight hound. They're not a retriever. So if you shoot something, they're not bringing it back for you. They might chase the arrow. They might also chase a squirrel. So beautiful. Like the artwork's beautiful, but some of the choices, like compassion, this is an interesting yet odd image. Some of them resonate so clearly. This is your card, Delphinus, love. Where's the love? They look like they hate each other. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't look like 2 people in love. Where's the love? I don't know. It's oddly disconnected. Yeah, this is, it's an interesting deck. That's for sure. Am I keeping it? No. No, I'm not. It just is, there's an odd disconnect for me. And I think a lot of the disconnect is in the guidebook itself. But some of the artwork doesn't make sense with the keywords or with what's going on. I know some of it is very clearly derivative of what the constellation or nebula actually is versus what the keywords and what the card's about, but it's oddly disconnected for me, so that one is going. Okay, let's look here. So we have Moon Magic, the book and card deck. So this is by Arcturus Publishing, and it doesn't tell us anywhere on here, anywhere on the box, does it tell us who the actual artist is, who the author is. Marie Bruce. Okay. All images courtesy of Shutterstock. So, interesting, right? Full color guidebook. It's got a lot of spreads. A 3-card spread, a pentacle spread, waxing crescent, waning crescent, full moon, and doing intuitive readings. And then we have each of the cards. So we have the title, keywords, and then information about that. So it's a solid book. I actually like the book. Right, this whole thing actually comes right out of here. This comes out as well. So if you just want to have like a little book, the cardstock is not like amazing cardstock, but it's not awful cardstock either. I wish it was like a little bit more solid. And it's quite beautiful. Ugh. Now that I'm looking at it again, I kind of think I want to keep it. I was kind of thinking, no, I wanted to get rid of it. And I think my issue with it is that there's no keywords on the cards. But it is a lovely, lovely deck. It is really, all these beautiful, you know, moon images are quite lovely. So, I'm not sure why Toad is in here. I'm sure if I read in the book, it will tell me. It's never come up for me. I've done a couple of sample readings for myself, and the Toad card has never come up. One of these days, I'm just going to look it up, I think. We have Black Cat. We have Toad. So it is kind of like a witchy Halloween sort of theme. It's a cute, inexpensive deck. I think it was like, I'm sure it was under $20 Canadian when I picked it up. It was quite inexpensive. It shuffles quite well. I find that it bounces back beautifully. It's very springy, so it does have a lovely shuffle. But, you know, if you're going to do a reading with it, you have to spend time with the guidebook. And, you know, if you're going to go, it's like, so here's where you are right now, Moonstruck. You can pull a lot from that phrase, Moonstruck. I think we're quite familiar with it. We have the lunar light, taking the moonlight, moon hair. All right, waning crescent, fly by night, last quarter, waning gibbous, toad. Wow, like it actually came out now that I've spoken about it. And star child. Very interesting. So, you know, you can use it for a more full reading. You just then have to pop into the book, right? So taking the moonlight, dating, flirtation, charm. Interesting. Yeah. I was thinking it's probably one that I was going to get rid of. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe it's one I want to keep because it's really adorable. And I love how easily it sits in the hand. And it's not like a billion cards you have to look at. You know, and they're very cute. I think it's very sweet. All right, so I have, at this point, what do we have? We have two, well, we have one going for sure. Oh, I was thinking I was going to get rid of it, but now I'm thinking maybe if I just take a Sharpie to it, then I'm like, why are you doing that to yourself? Aren't you supposed to be clutter clearing? So definitely I'm getting rid of Oracle of the Universe. Possibly getting rid of Starcode's Astro Oracle. Like, if I'm really honest with myself, I just don't use it. And if I'm really honest, if I had to choose between the two and only keep one astrology deck, I would keep Heavenly Bodies because the artwork resonates with me just a little bit more than this, even though this is gorgeous and I love it. I just am not drawn to work with it, and it just doesn't, there's a bit of a disconnect, and I'm not sure why. I'm really just not sure why. But that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes we have something and you know, it can be absolutely lovely and fantastic and functional, but it just doesn't resonate with where your energy is at. And so like if I keep it, you know, maybe 2 years from now it resonates, but honestly, if I'm not going to use it, why do I have it? Like, and it's one that's, you know, it's mass market and it's so easily, readily available that if I changed my mind, I could always buy another one. So I do love her writing though. I don't know. Maybe this is one I work with through September. Maybe it can just go. This is definitely leaving. In addition to my disconnect with it, I did find when I went through and compared this one to this one, there's at least 10 cards that are repeat. So my thoughts of doing a mega deck, there's at least 10 cards I would take out of here because they're repeats of cards that are in here. So if I have to have just one, I'm going to keep the Moon Oracle because it's actually working well for me. And this one is not working as well. So definitely this I think is going to go. This one I thought was going to go, but I think maybe I actually want to just try working with it and see how it resonates because I do like the size. And it was a very inexpensive little deck. I don't know. That's a tough one. All right. Well, I felt like I should just know what to do with it. I don't know. I don't use it. Maybe it should go. Maybe it should stay. This is how it is with all. This is how I ended up with so many decks in the first place. All right. So that's going. Okay, I feel good about that. We've got rid of at least two more decks, which is perfect. And this one's a maybe. Maybe I'm going to take a Sharpie and write the keywords on it. Maybe I will just give it away. Yeah, maybe I'll just give it away. Maybe that's what's going to happen with it. All right, so if you're still here at the end of all that, thank you so much for hanging out and helping me or watching me go through this crazy process of trying to figure out what is going to stay and what is going to go and what belongs where in my oracle collection, and you know, maybe a little bit about the entire mental process that I'm having to go through as I decide what stays and what goes, because I really need to actually, I would love to have everything just fit on 2 shelves instead of having like 2.5 shelves and another cabinet and another shelf over here and some still even in a suitcase that just I never get to them because there's too many. So awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day and a wonderful week. Take care.